What's up YouTube, Miss Martian here. I hope you're having an amazing day. The time has come for us to talk about Trunks. So even though Goku somehow made a baby with Chi-Chi, he doesn't know what kissing is. It was Vegeta's turn to get down and have a spawn. And he kind of got two for the price of one because, well, we get quite a lot of future Vegeta's kid in both Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super. But we're going to stick with Dragon Ball Z Trunks for this video. If you're one of my subscribers, then thank you. I appreciate the hell out of you. And if you're new here, then I'd love to have you join where you can have access to all of my anime chats in the future. So about a year and a half after Frieza wrecked Namek and Goku is still missing and presumed dead, Frieza and his pieces were found floating in space, and he's been put back together to form a new, cool, robot-style Mecha Frieza. And because Frieza has a fucking humongous score to settle with his eternal rivals, the Saiyans.
Father, we're going to Earth right now. The Super Saiyan must die.
And of course, the energy from his arrival calls for a warrior reunion. So all of our remaining Z Squad, including a still grumpy but slightly less genocidal Vegeta, all gather together and try and devise a plan to beat this new Frieza. They kind of know that they can't though, because look, I mean, Frieza single-handedly killed Krillin and Vegeta once before, and let's face it, Vegeta is kind of the strongest of them all at this point. So picture this. You land your sick new spaceship on this primitive planet ready to bust a cap at Goku. You waltz out of your ship on all six of your toes like, yo, what's up? I'm ready to wreck your day. But a very well-built purple-haired teenager is there to greet you. He seems nice, but he's saying things to you like, you're about to be destroyed by a Super Saiyan, and I don't mean Goku.
What's a Goku?
So after he single-handedly minces all the boys, this purple-haired kid transforms into a Super Saiyan, which is obviously confusing as f*** because number one, Super Saiyans all have black hair, and number two, Goku's meant to be the only Super Saiyan. So after he transforms, this Super Saiyan performs some kind of sexy jutsu with his hands, busts out a sword, down slices your mecha ass, and does the coolest one-handed blast that maybe I've ever seen, thus destroying the plans you had to wreck Earth. And that is how we were introduced to Trunks. Now at this point, Trunks and the others are waiting for Goku, who is set to arrive in just 2 hours from now. And the squad are a bit shocked when he seems to know who Goku is, but he won't reveal who he is or where he's from. Vegeta obviously the most concerned because this guy just turned into a Super Saiyan and Vegeta can't quite do that yet. But in a private discussion, Trunks discloses to Goku that he's just traveled 20 years from the future and that he's also the son of the Saiyan Prince Vegeta and current annoying Earthwoman Bulma. Now Vegeta doesn't really seem like the fatherly type, now does he? So the fact that he's a dad is definitely the most shocking part of this conversation. But Trunks goes on to kind of seriously mention that two really strong killing machine androids are set to appear 3 years from now. And when that happens in Trunks's timeline, Goku was weirdly enough taken out by a heart virus, but all of the others, including Vegeta, were killed by the androids. So everyone but Trunks and Gohan died, and it was a miracle that Trunks made it out alive like this. So although it's not really a vibe to mess with the past, Trunks did find it kind of necessary to prevent all of this from happening. I don't know though, I think Goku's still shocked that Vegeta had a kid. So Trunks gets in his space capsule and f***s off back to his own timeline to give them time to train and prep for the androids. He says he'll try and make it back, but like, I don't know man, time travel is very hard and making a round trip seems like a pretty big excursion, but he said he'll try. Also, fun fact, Piccolo with his massive ears overheard this entire conversation, so he knows exactly who Trunks is, but he doesn't reveal that he is the son of Vegeta and Bulma because that could endanger, him actually being made. And I mean, not long after this visit, Vegeta and Bulma actually make Trunks, which is good and necessary for future Trunks to exist, so good for them. So just as Trunks had foretold, two weird looking androids rock up and start wreaking havoc. One of them, Android 20, does turn out to be the crazy mad scientist that actually created them all, all. Yes, I said them all. There is more to come, for goodness sake. So in this 3-year gap, everyone had gone off to train in preparation for the androids, and the newborn Super Saiyan Vegeta did have a ball of a time wrecking Android 19 and displaying incredible amounts of shit talking at the same time. Not long after this, Trunks pulls up from the future again to lend a hand in the battle against the androids. He's kind of alarmed that they look different from the ones that he knows, but that's okay because Piccolo accidentally reveals that Trunks is Vegeta's son. Whoops. Well, I guess everyone knows now, including Vegeta. Well, good though, because Vegeta can relax a little bit now, knowing where this mysterious Super Saiyan came from. Although Vegeta does seem very resentful at his newfound fatherhood by not saving Bulma and baby Trunks from their ship exploding when they were right there. Vegeta makes noise about the woman being foolish and the baby being a nuisance, which doesn't seem to shock future Trunks, but you can see it has a negative impact on him. You see, future Trunks is very much a Vegeta spawn in the fact that his pride and his strength and his ability is mostly a taught trait rather than like something he's chosen. So he does appear to be relatively resentful towards his father for this somewhat forced pride. And also, I'm not surprised that Trunks is a bit pissed considering Vegeta has like one-shotted him on several occasions for just trying to help. But all of this is pretty much overruled by the fact that his dad is a prince and there seems to be some kind of parental hierarchy there. But he's not so bad with kid Trunks, so I don't know, maybe he relaxed a bit. So more androids surface and Vegeta is super keen to fight them. Well, the fight didn't really end up how Vegeta wanted it to, so I guess that's kind of awkward. So considering that the androids' only goal is to kill Goku, they set off on a mission to find him. But also, nobody can find the androids because they're robots and nobody can sense their power. So at the moment, everyone's kind of like hunting and also fearing for their lives at the same time. And that's when Bulma makes a call to say a time capsule, not unlike Trunks' one, has just been spotted. So Trunks heads off to go check it out, and he's entirely perplexed when he realizes the capsule arrived from 1 year after he left and landed 3 years before his first visit to see Goku. So this is someone from Trunks' future timeline. Well, it's actually a bug from his timeline. And this bug has 3 forms, each form massively stronger than the last, and Trunks is not keen. This boy is traumatized for real. So I guess we need to build a lot more strength than we thought. Enter the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. The Hyperbolic Time Chamber has a door between 2 dimensions that operate on different time scales. 1 year inside of the Hyperbolic Time Chamber is just 1 day in the real world. Although it's not indestructible, it's relatively endless, sitting around 50 degrees Celsius in temperature, and deep in the chamber, the air is remarkably dense. So the Hyperbolic Time Chamber is not just quick training, it's also very grueling for the participants, which is right up Dad's alley. So although Trunks had unsuccessfully tried training with Vegeta before, he does opt to undergo this process for a full year with his father. And while they were in there, a couple of things happened. Trunks grew his hair into what I call the peak Trunks ponytail. In my opinion, Trunks looks his best here. Saiyan armor, long purple hair, and he ascended into Super Trunks. Next to Broly, he's the most roided up Super Saiyan I've ever seen. And whilst he gained a lot of strength, he did not gain speed or agility. So he kinda got a bit slower with all that bulk that he was trying to move around. So much so, it almost made his newfound strength void in his battle with Cell. Trunks did later strongly hint that he was holding back his true power during training as a means of protecting his father's pride. And let's be honest, Vegeta let it happen as well because he can't see anyone surpass him willingly. So when they leave the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, they make a move for Cell. And look, I love Vegeta. He is hands down my favorite Dragon Ball character. But this motherfucker was so overpowered and so inflated that he was about to let Cell enter his final form just so he could have a more challenging fight.
That one was free.
In fact, he was so passionate about this that he yeets Trunks out the way when he tries to stop Cell from becoming perfect. You see, we forget that Trunks has had enough of this. He has spent a great deal of energy fighting the androids and also trying to prevent the devastation of the entire world. And Vegeta just wants to play games with Cell. So while Vegeta is being humbled by Perfect Cell, Trunks says he'll only intervene if Vegeta gets KO'd. So Vegeta gets KO'd, and this is where Cell starts to ask Trunks some questions. How did you get so strong in such a short space of time? Where is Goku? Why isn't he here fighting me? He seems to be strong. Trunks responds with, Goku will take you on no contest. Contest? Tournament? Damn it, Trunks! Now it's a game for Cell. But hey, he did just buy them 10 days to all go and get strong. So I guess it's back into the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. Unfortunately for Trunks, this had become the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan saga, so he didn't make nearly as much progress during this training session. And he was ultimately relegated to the sidelines where he was one-shotted through the chest by a regenerated Cell. To be honest, this scene slapped. The look on Vegeta's face is everything. And I mean, that one shot came out of the dust. It was very unexpected. So Vegeta loses his mind at Cell, but then gets karate chopped in his already wrecked left arm. Anyone notice how Vegeta's left arm is always in pain? Trunks was later shocked to discover Vegeta had gone apeshit at Cell in an attempt to avenge his death.
I'll be darned.
Which is a wholesome end to future Trunks' time here, so off he goes back to his timeline after a good sleep and a hearty Saiyan feed. So if we fast forward a few years in our normal timeline, we now have a fun, feisty, little 8-year-old kid Trunks. And not only has he been frequently training with his father Vegeta, but he's already able to transform into a Super Saiyan. Now let's all remember Gohan was 10 years old when he learned to transform into a Super Saiyan, so this is pretty damn impressive. The best part about Trunks' transformation is he reveals it to Vegeta while struggling under the weight of the gravity chamber during a training session. He transforms into Super Saiyan and then he starts jumping around like it's nothing. Would you say he's flaunting his new ability?
When was it that the transformation to the legendary warrior of the Saiyan race was reduced to a child's plaything?
I love how much he's Vegeta's kid with the smartass attitude. This transformation does make Vegeta slightly irritated, but also proud at the same time. But I do feel like Kid Trunks injects some well-needed fun into Dragon Ball Z. He's a much fresher and more innocent version of the heavy-hearted Vegeta. And he does some really fun and cute things like entering into the World Martial Arts tournament with his BFF Goten, disguised as an adult. Who couldn't tell that was one kid on another kid's shoulders? But I just want to say thank you, Akira Toriyama, for giving us such a fun little Saiyan to laugh with. We appreciate it. Anyway, moving forward, a giant monster named Majin Buu has been hatched, and he's pretty much decimating Vegeta. Trunks rushes in an attempt to help the battle, and he stubbornly refuses to retreat even after being ordered to by Vegeta. And after Majin Buu toys with Vegeta for a while, Vegeta realizes he's got no other option but to sacrifice himself in an attempt to explode the monster with an overloaded energy release. It gets incredibly moving at this point. In fact, this is probably one of the most emotional parts of Dragon Ball Z. Vegeta has a strong feeling that he won't come back after his death because of all the evil deeds that he's done in his time, so he has to say goodbye to his son. He speaks directly to Trunks, stating that he hadn't held him since he was a baby. Trunks doesn't know what's about to happen, but he cautiously accepts this hug from his dad, who he clearly has a massive amount of trust and respect for. The hug lasts a while and the emotion does build before Trunks is softly knocked out by Vegeta with a nice little karate chop to the neck, and then Trunks and Goten are carried to safety at the lookout by our boys Krillin and Piccolo. Meanwhile, Vegeta self-destructs and Majin Buu does regenerate. Tell me you didn't cry. I'll wait. So when the boys wake up, Trunks is furious at Goku for not saving his father. But Goku mentions they could maybe have a chance at beating Majin Buu by fusing together and becoming one ultra strong mini Super Saiyan? Seems unfathomable. We haven't seen this yet. I mean, we've seen Cell absorb people, relatively the same principle, except they actually merged together to create one entirely new being. It's needless to say their first attempts at fusion were hilarious, but when they finally did balance their energy, the fusion was a success. And Gotenks was born. Unfortunately, Gotenks got kind of rolled by Majin Buu, but the second fusion was much more successful. With only a week inside the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, Trunks and Goten had perfected the fusion dance to hit it right in time, right in front of Majin Buu and Piccolo. He even ascended to Super Saiyan level 3 while yelling in an attempt to escape from the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. So, some perspective here. This is essentially an 8-year-old child ascending beyond that of even what Goku could do, because Goku could only stay in Super Saiyan 3 for a very short amount of time because it's very taxing on the body. Whereas Gotenks stayed in Super Saiyan 3 for quite a considerable amount of time during this arc. And I always felt like Gotenks was the perfect amalgamation of Trunks and Goten. He gets embarrassed and he's innocent like Goten is, but he's also a smart-ass little shit just like Trunks is. Gotenks even taunts his opponents with phrases like,
"For a pink guy, you've got a bad temper,"
or
"That had to hurt,"
after dealing out huge amounts of damage. And although Gotenks did wield Super Saiyan 3 very well, his body just ain't quite that of a hardened Saiyan veteran. So he descends back to base form and is left kind of embarrassed and also relatively desperate. Like, bro, what the fuck am I gonna do now? And then after that, their 30-minute fusion had expired, so they separated. Majin Buu later does demand a rematch with Gotenks, but we soon learn that this was all just a ruse to absorb him so Majin Buu could have their power for his own use. And even after being released from within Majin Buu, Trunks is killed alongside his friends when Kid Buu blows up the entire planet. But luckily Purunga saves the day by restoring the planet and everything that was on it, including everyone that died. Trunks then aids in the destruction of Majin Buu by lending his energy to Goku with a humongous spirit bomb that ends the battle and the saga, and then it closes with a happily ever after everyone is alive scene. By the way, Vegeta got his body back because of his attempt to save the world. Hallelujah. Now, we don't actually see Trunks again until Dragon Ball Super, considering this was actually the last arc of Dragon Ball Z anyway. And in Super, he is still a little baddie. And we do see future Trunks again. This time he's in his 30s and shit's a little bit different then. I do talk about it in my Goku Black video, which you can see here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're one of my subscribers, then thank you so much for returning and I appreciate you so much. If you're new here, then please subscribe to my channel for more anime chats in the future. I'll see you in another video.